She's a funny old broad. She keeps you guessing.
Well, hello everybody. I'm trying out a new kind of a branding technique for my podcast. Um, that song is one I wrote. I'm also the one singing. The fella playing the piano is a guy by the name of, um, I know him very well. I'm getting a blank right this second, but I know him very well. Misha Stefanuk. He's a Russian fella, but he's a U.S. citizen, has been for quite some time. Excellent on the piano. And back when we were doing the pandemic stuff and everybody was all shut down, there came a point where we said, you know what, we're gonna put on some house concerts, and we did it in his living room. We He would play the piano and I'd sing some of my songs. Well, anyway, it was a lot of fun. So I thought, hey, I've always liked this song. It's called "Life is a Funny Old Broad," and now that I'm getting older, I understand the old broad kind of thing. But tonight, what I wanted to talk about, or today, whenever it is you're watching this, is uh, you may be watching this on Substack, you may be watching it on Rumble, you may be watching it on YouTube. It may be in a Substack may have uploaded it to some sort of a audio thing where you're listening to it. Okay, fine. Although I have to say the video is always better because you know, well, I don't know. I guess some people are visual and some aren't. I can be kind of both. But the reason I was bringing up all this where you might be watching this video is because I was watching somebody's on Substack, somebody's very first podcast, and they interviewed somebody that they knew. And one of the guys on there said, we live in a Substack. He said is the place to be. And the reason is and I want to see if I get this right. He said Substack is a multi-rich media environment. And by that, he meant that you can have your video, you can have your audio, and you can also have your written word, and you can have the audio and the video have the transcript with it so you can read along as you're watching. As opposed to YouTube, their transcription is harder to read on a big screen. I don't know that you can get the transcription if you're on a little screen like an iPad or a phone. I don't know. But Substack is kind of pushing the bounds of all of that. And some people are making some good money with it. I'm not one of those making good money with it yet, but you never know. I might. Um, but the reason I'm bringing this up too is because the reason I enjoyed that particular interview was because these two guys, one was Ted Hope, and the other was it Richard Rushfield? Field? Uh, anyway, um, I've never seen them before, don't know who they are, but they had a really good conversation. And as somebody commented on the side as it was going on, said, man, it was like sitting at a bar with you two guys just talking. And I thought, that's really true. I love going to a bar and talking to people. I don't go to bars anymore because I'm allergic to all alcohol now. And I don't mean that in the I'm an alcoholic kind of way. What I mean is really it gives me hives now, and it tried to kill me a couple of years ago with these hives. So long story short, I can't do it. And when you go to a bar and you order coffee, everybody looks at you like, oh dear, are you an alcoholic? And should I be drinking around you? And so I just don't go anymore. But I still like to talk to people. And so I'm hoping that with this podcast, I've already interviewed a few people, and I'm looking forward to doing some more of that. And if you think you're a good interview, I would love to talk to you. But what this one fellow, I think it was Ted, was talking about the movie business, which he's in, and how can you make a difference in how people remember you? And he says, well, the thing is you've got to be authentic. And what was the other word he used? And be yourself. Be authentic and be yourself. He talked about this one fellow that always wore some kind of a plaid jacket, I think it was, and a bow tie. And people made fun of him. But in a crowd, if you were looking for him, all you had to do was look for the bow tie and the jacket. He wore it the same way all the time. And that was how you could find him, and people recognized him. A lot of people do that. That's what branding is all about. Well, what am I going to be doing with branding? Because, I do so many different things. And you could very well be one of those kind of people that does so many things that when somebody says, what do? You just go, where do I start? And that's the way I am. But I will tell you that I am me. I'm always me. And no matter what I'm doing, I'm me. And so that's why I thought, I'm going to start trying to brand these. The name of the podcast of mine is The Constrained View, because it's clarity in a clouded world or something like that. I'm going to have to remember my own tagline. Gosh, sometimes my brain doesn't fire when I need it to. Um, but what what all of everything I do has in common is me and how I see things. It may be different from you, it may be the same as you, but it's me. So that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about was how to be authentic, be yourself. Not so much how to, rather you need to. Now, I'm going to tell you, I don't know how to tell you this, so I'll be as quick as possible. Um, Growing up, all kids, there's very few kids that are born with a uh, a personality that is set. I was one of those. I have only recently discovered that. And the reason is because growing up the way I did, which I will not mention right now, but it wasn't good, I realized that there was a point where I didn't even know how to laugh. I did not know how to laugh. So if social constraints called for me to laugh at a joke or to laugh, I didn't even really know what a joke was. Then I would pick somebody around me that was laughing and I would laugh exactly like them. And I didn't realize I was doing that until I was about 17. And this girl who was 19, she goes, why are you always copying me? And I said, I don't understand. What do you mean? She says, every time you're around me and I laugh, you laugh exactly like me. I did not know I was doing it. I mean, I just didn't. It was such a habit. And I did it because I didn't know how to laugh, but it seemed like I needed to. So how do I do that? Well, I finally found how to laugh by myself. I mean, for myself. And let me tell you, sometimes I literally choke myself laughing so hard. And it's a really interesting thing laughing for yourself. If you've done it your whole life, you don't know what it's like not to do it. I look at people who laugh easy. They get jokes. They're the life of the party without changing who they are. And who I am is an introvert, but I'm an entertainer at the same time. I mean, look, I sing. Well, I used to till the hives hurt my voice box. Write songs. Now, I used to love to get up in front of kids in school and read the books. The one book that I read, talk about things. I used to do writing, uh, 90, 55-minute writing exercises for third, fourth, and fifth graders. And I had a ball doing that. I mean, I was me. I didn't have to change anything about it. But when you've got people looking at you and they assume you are something you're not, and then you go and do something different, a lot of people get mad at you. They will flat out get mad at you. Why are you acting like that? That's not you. Yeah, it is. Just because you haven't seen all of me yet doesn't mean it isn't me. So, this being authentic and being yourself sounds really good. In fact, it sounds kind of trite when you say it that way. Be authentic, be yourself. But how do you do that when expectation is upon you and you don't even know it? And then when it's people know, well, like when I sing, oh, great singer, they assume I'm some kind of, party girl. I am not. I don't. In fact, I don't really like parties. But if I give a party, y'all go have fun. And not because a bunch of stupid stuff's being done, but because I know how to be a good hostess. And so that's another part of me. But then when it came time to doing this podcast, I got to thinking, I don't want to be the one whose hair is perfect and it's all curled a certain way. Because number one, I'm allergic to a lot of that stuff. I can't wear makeup anymore at all, so you might as well forget it because my face burns. This is not good stuff. So how can I be me? Get here on this newfangled stuff. How can I be authentic? How can I be myself and yet not turn people off? For all I know, I'm turning you off right now, and you're going, "Oh my God, will this woman never shut up?" I don't know, but I didn't want to be that anchor person that sits a certain way. What was that fella on ABC? He holds his head kind of, I don't know. What is his name? All I know is I didn't like him from the first time I saw him because he wasn't himself. He was trying to be something else, and I picked up on um, that inauthenticness of him trying to convince me he's all that. I don't like that. And yet, you find these people, they become anchors. Next thing you know, everything is just so. Their face never wavers. Their voice is always so serious. They cock their head a certain way. They pronounce words. Suddenly they're pronouncing words, and you're going, when did people start saying words like that? I don't know. And then this tone of this voice becomes not just serious, but preachy. And it becomes, I'm so much better than you. Because you see, I'm on the network news or whatever. But there's an old saying that goes, when someone shows you who you are, believe them. And I've gotten pretty good. In fact, I've been pretty good for most of my life at looking at someone and saying to myself, I don't trust them. Might not can tell you why. I wait for them to tell me who they are. So I'll be polite and everything, which reminds me of what happened. Y'all remember a guy by the name of Stephen Wozniak? He was with Bill Gates, and they did all the I think that was who he was with, Bill Gates, or was he with the other fella, Steve Jobs? You know, they all run together after a while. Anyway, Stephen Wozniak, he, I'm gonna share my screen with you, and I'm gonna show you what he said, and I'm gonna show you that, or tell you that I fully expected it of him, though I knew nothing about him except for what I've seen, like of an interview that he's done. The way he seemed friendly and nice and everything. It's not that he isn't friendly and nice. It's just I didn't like it, and I couldn't tell you why. And I think he's been on The Big Bang Theory before. But let me show you. He did a interview um, with CNBC. Share the screen. I got to share the screen. We're going to do that one right there. Share it. And let me put them on the stage. Add to the stage and minimize me. There I am, minimize. You see, that's Stephen Wozniak. Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak talks Doge, Musk, and Tesla. It'll just be a few seconds. I was very disappointed.
There are types of people that you associate within your life that are good, pleasant, friendly, care about others, care about animals.
Now, in that, he's absolutely correct. It's not a falsehood that he's saying. But here's what comes next.
Even. And Trump is not one of them. He's a disgusting person, and has always been and always will be. Elon Musk, I don't know what got into his head thinking, sometimes you get so rich at these big companies and you're on top. Oh, it goes to your head and you're the most credible person in the world and the brightest, and you're going to dictate what others will do. Bullying is the best way to think of it. If you're in school, the bully's going to force their way on the little guy. I don't know. I've always favored the little guy over the big guy. And I've always favored the consumer of a good over the producer.
I'm going to remove that off my stage. I don't know what to say about that other than I was not surprised to hear him say it. And I really hated that because, he was on The Big Bang Theory one time, and everybody, he did a good job there. And yet, how he's seeing the world, I just don't know. That he cannot look at the actions of someone and see that it's not helping them, it's helping others, and still think that they're a piece of crud. I do not know. I do not know at all. And it reminds me of the when Trump gave a talk to the Congress altogether the other night. Was it Tuesday night he did it? Yeah. So the Democrats have labeled the Donald as the great divider in chief. The great divider in chief. Now, in order to name him that and call him that, they have to ignore 80%, sometimes more, of the entire United States population. Because they feel like this bigger portion of the population, the citizens who are not in power, who are the taxpayers, who are their boss, who are the Democrats and the Republicans and the boss of everybody, because we're paying the bills, that the Democrats and the rhinos and the social justice warriors and all this sort of thing cannot even celebrate when a good thing happens. Tells you all you need to know about them. Tells you that's it. Those people don't have any love in their heart for good. And that's a bad thing, you know. It's not really, well, it is a bad thing, but it's more of a sad thing. It's very sad that the hate that is within them is so much that they cannot be happy that a 13-year-old boy was given an honorary Secret Service badge. This 13-year-old boy who has been battling cancer since he was, what, 4? 5 maybe? Brain cancer. Not just cancer, but brain cancer. And that they couldn't even be happy and just say, oh, you know, that is so sweet. Okay, Donald, you did one good thing sweet, made the boy feel good. Thank you so much. But no, that's not what they did. They sat there, wouldn't clap, wouldn't stand for the 13-year-old boy, for the boy that is getting ready to go into West Point. The man who was in Russia, the teacher, who has just been reunited with his mother here, not 22 days after Trump, so about third week of February, reunited with his 85-year-old mother, who didn't think she was ever going to see her son again. He shouldn't have been held, but he was. Biden knew it for 3 years. Wouldn't know anything about it. It's okay, let him rot. Whatever. But he's out now. Could any one of the Democrats in that room have been happy about that? No. No, they weren't. And what about the mothers that lost their daughters to criminals? You know, and it doesn't matter that they were illegal aliens. What matters is that 2 mothers lost their daughters. One, a 20 or 22-year-old girl, woman, and the other one, a 12-year-old girl, raped for 2 hours and tortured before they finally killed her. And the 22-year-old, she had been tortured too and raped for some time. That their killers have been caught. You would think that that would be a thing to be happy about, no matter what your politics, but no, they couldn't do that. There was other things. If you haven't watched the speech, an hour and 40 minutes long, if you haven't watched it, I would like to suggest that you do watch it. It really is very good. There's some zingers in there. It's really, really nice. I like that. I like the zingers. But they couldn't celebrate anything that was good because of their hatred of the man that made it happen. And yet the man that made it happen on behalf of us, the citizens, the taxpayers, and our children, and our grandchildren. They couldn't even be happy for that. It's really a sad thing. So they are very authentic, these Democrats. They're authentic in their meanness. They are authentic in their nastiness. And they are authentic in their lack of any empathy whatsoever for anybody who has been hurt. Although the one thing they did clap for during his speech was when Donald Trump said he had, through the USAID, stopped all the funneling of money to Ukraine, stopped all of that, stopped sending them machines, war fighting machines. The Democrats got up and applauded for that because they want it to continue. They weren't applauding because he stopped it. They were applauding and letting the world know that they wanted it to continue. They didn't care that thousands are dying each week. They didn't care that if it continued on and a World War III began, that eventually it would be their sons and daughters who would be boots on the ground over there. They didn't care. They didn't care. They're mean and nasty. And I, for one, hate that sort of thing. There's two ways to fight a war. One is to start it and pick on somebody weaker than you so you can take their stuff. And the other way to fight it is to fight against an aggressor so you protect the people behind you. Donald Trump, I don't care what Steve Wozniak says, Donald Trump has assembled a fabulous cabinet. He has people begging to be part of it on some level. Thus the Elon Musk thing. Elon isn't doing any of this to be a bully. He hates waste. He hates waste. I hate waste. I bet you hate waste. The Democrats just want what they want. And they don't care who they have to hurt to get it. It's like, there's this website called OnlyFans, and it's where these girls, have these little cute perky bodies, and you pay money to subscribe to them, and then you pay them more money, and they'll have private little talks with you online. And this one woman, she had an OnlyFans page, and she was very popular. And oh my gosh, she was absolutely, fit and gorgeous and perky, and not a flawless bit of nothing on that body. And yet she was an abuser. She beat her boyfriend. She pitched fits. She was constantly throwing things at him until finally she stabbed him to death. Why was he still there? I don't know, but he's dead now. And it's at her hand because she wanted what she wanted. You better treat me with respect or else, or whatever it is that she was going to say or do or whatever. She wanted it her way. These Democrats and these rhinos and these social justice warriors, they're the same way. They want it their way. How dare you tell me what I can and cannot have? Don't you know I'm the blessed one? Don't you know I'm the anointed one that God has chosen, or whoever they worship has chosen? It kills me. It just absolutely freaking kills me. Well, I think I'm going to end this now. If you go to my Substack, I have an article. One of my articles is called Can You Imagine, where I kind of go into some more detail about this Trump speech. You may want to read that or not. But we look forward to seeing you. And now I'm going to end the recording and see if I can play my outro.
She treats you right.